Britain, the land of tea, royals, and aggressive bands with questionable haircuts. Today we delve into the glorious mess of Britpop, specifically the legendary and possibly entirely fabricated feud between Blur and Oasis. Was it a genuine clash of musical titans or a carefully orchestrated media circus? Let's find out. By early 1995, Britpop was like a runway bus barreling down the motorway of British music, and leading the charge were scene leaders Blur and Mancunian upstarts Oasis. But beneath the excitement, tensions began arising. As 1995 progressed, it became clear that there was a rivalry brewing between Blur and Oasis. The Gallagher brothers were known for their fiery personalities, but soon this spilled out from internal conflicts to other artists. Things came to a head backstage at the NME Awards. Oasis' Liam did not hold back, expressing his opinions of Blur's Alex. Oasis thought that Blur weren't quite the rock and roll deal, while Blur just shrugged their shoulders and kept doing their thing. And when Oasis snagged a #1, things got a little tense. Liam Gallagher, ever the outspoken one, couldn't resist a victory gloat towards Damon. And while Damon saw this as a competitive challenge, it seemed like the band weren't quite on the same page. Oasis might have harboured some serious dislike for Blur, but Blur themselves took it a lot less seriously. Sure, Damon saw them as rivals, but for him the whole thing seemed like a playful competition, almost a joke. The media had a field day with this, painting it as a clash between posh southern boys and rough northerners, but beneath the headlines, it was more of a difference in musical influences. Blur leaned more towards an experimental sound, while Oasis drew inspiration from classic British rock and R&B. To capitalise on the media frenzy, both bands released singles on the same day. Blur with Country House, and Oasis with Roll With It. However, neither song really lived up to the hype. Country House earned the novelty song label, and Roll With It felt a bit uninspired, like a rehash of Oasis' usual sound. Conspiracy theories began to swirl around the single's release. Some speculated that the whole chart battle was a carefully orchestrated marketing ploy on both sides. If true, it was undeniably effective in generating them a lot of attention. After much strategizing, Blur scheduled their next release to directly coincide with Oasis. The stage was set for a head-to-head chart battle. News of the plan hit Oasis and they wondered if they should change their release date, but it was already locked in and announced. If Blur wanted to move theirs, that was their prerogative, but this was Oasis' moment. Within the Blur band, the decision wasn't universally embraced, but Damon was certain. He wanted the competition. The national media leapt onto the story. Headlines blared across newspapers and TV bulletins. Britpop mania had well and truly exploded into the public eye. It was inescapable. Even America took notice. The narrative once again took a predictable turn, framing the rivalry as a class war. This portrait particularly made Blur's guitarist uneasy. Having grown up as an army child, the middle-class label felt inaccurate and insensitive. Meanwhile, suddenly going into a record shop and buying an Oasis or a Blur record felt like public voting. And soon enough, results day was here. Blur emerged victorious, outselling Oasis with a margin of 270,000 to 200,000. Despite the victory, Blur's Graham was still unhappy. The celebratory bragging felt distasteful, and the rivalry felt like a big spectacle to him. Achieving a #1 held value to him, but he craved success on artistic merit. Rumours of the rivalry being staged persisted, and Blur's bassist fueled the fire, remarking that people don't understand, this rivalry is made up. This left fans questioning the authenticity of the feud. By 1996, the initial explosion had begun to fade. Blur had won in the specific chart battle, but the long-term impact of Oasis music arguably secured them a more enduring legacy within the Britpop movement. Oasis generally outsold Blur in terms of total career sales, and songs like Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger remain more widely recognised anthems. Their working-class lad culture also became more culturally iconic and influenced further generations. So there you have it, the Battle of Britpop, a clash of egos, catchy tunes, and a lot of media hype. But who really won? The truth is, there's no definitive answer. The question of who is ultimately up to you to decide. Team Blur or Team Oasis? Who's your winner?